As you can tell, this is pretty overwhelming, pretty rad, but you know you're only going to be here once, probably in your life.
Let's leave everything and go traveling. See what tomorrow brings. It's only a choice away. Let's back up and leave today. Let's see what tomorrow brings.
Alright, good morning. Today we are just going to be tourists and explore the city and show you around. We've seen a lot of it as we've had to run errands and complete tasks, but today we're just going to enjoy it. And you saw when we came into town the really, really bad areas, and we'll show you the really, really good areas today. Walking through the main park in an area called San Isidro, which is like the fancy area, and it looks like the park used to be old like olive groves because they're all olive trees. I found an olive, but it's really pretty, but you can tell they're all really old because they're real thick trees. So crazy. You're just like walking through a neighborhood. No one seems to be super impressed, but there's a giant pyramid right there.
I think that's
crazy.
the fourth time too. So
Yeah.
one of them we're just on the other side of it, but some of the others are ones we hadn't seen before, and then we stumble across it. Things are everywhere.
Next up was Miraflores, which is probably the most touristy area in Lima. It has everything from hostels to 5-star hotels, coastline, fancy shopping, tons of food options, and it was also where Goose was safely tucked away. What do you think, tourist street?
Yeah.
We're now walking around the district of Barranco, which is kind of like the up-and-coming, I don't know, more hipster area. So it's still, there's a lot of cool little restaurants and shops, but it's not quite as cleaned up as like the fancy San Isidro where we were earlier. So
Yeah. I know, in a way I feel like it might be more fancy in a way, just because they're so hipster, so I don't know, all the restaurants look really high-end.
yeah.
But yeah, the streets and stuff, it's a little bit of Cuba mixed with a little bit of like a redone area.
2 of walking around in Lima.
Yeah, it's the auto museum here in town. It's actually a private collection. It's way outside of town, so it was like a 30-minute ride just straight into the desert.
Yeah.
And now there's kind of a community out here, like a wealthy community, but I mean it's just barren desert around you and stuff. So it's kind of cool. But I've heard it's a huge collection, so we'll see what it looks like. As you can tell, this is pretty overwhelming, pretty rad, but you know you're only going to be here once, probably in your life. So you're trying to soak it all in, and you wish you knew more about every car, and I know more than like maybe a non-car person, and I've always loved cars and always loved walking around car shows, but it's really interesting when you know that each one has a special story, and he's speaking to us in Spanish, and I'm getting a lot of it, but not 100%. You go, what little fact did I not get? So if you ever need inspiration to learn another language better, something like this for me is a good one. It's just so neat that the guy's passionate about cars. He drives them, he loves them, he drives his Ferrari. The driving here in Lima and just in Peru in general has been by far the most insane I've ever seen. It's like the crowdedness of like Tokyo, but with aggressiveness I've never seen. So to drive any of these beautiful cars would be a little scary. I'm sure he's got some roads that are sort of his favorite, sort of like Jay Leno going up in the hills there, right near Burbank or wherever he's at. Just amazing. We're hoping in a couple of weeks we're going to get to go to the Peterson Automotive Museum, so that should be pretty cool. But what a difference to be here in Lima, Peru, and looking at a 1929 Rolls-Royce that's completely unrestored and original and absolutely beautiful. And then you snap your fingers and in 2 weeks maybe, we could be in the Peterson. So, amazing. If you're in Peru, if you're in Lima, you have to come check it out. It was 10 sol, so, $3 to $4 per person, not too shabby. But really amazing. The tour that we got from Jose was mind-blowing. I mean, he told us about every single car. If I pointed at a car, he would tell me more of the story behind it, where it was found, what the condition was in. He knew which little pieces they struggled to remake. So he's been here a long time, clearly, and he's seen these cars go from a rust bucket to fully restored. So they kind of know, this one was tough because we couldn't get this windshield, so we had to fabricate a windshield, or this one was tough because we had to redo the hood ornament, which is really ornate. So those 10 guys that are working full-time to restore all these obviously are very good at what they do, but amazing.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It's cool to get to meet the guy too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. What was your favorite?
Oh man, it's overwhelming. There are so many. I kind of like the old ones that you see that aren't restored, that have a little bit of
Me too.
more character.
A little patina,
Yeah.
I know that word's overused, but there's a little character with it. Yeah, come check it out. Hopefully did it some justice, but like anything.
Worth it.
Yeah, like anything, you can't really do it justice via video, so come check it out. So he's just letting us know everything in this room is all original. Nothing's been restored. Got BMW Isetta, Volkswagen Bugs, Mazda RX-7, a Vauxhall that I don't know because we never got them in the US, but pretty cool. Got a Lada. Oh, it's the Fiat. So this is what the Lada was sort of based on, or stolen, or whatever you want to call it. But sort of a better version of a Lada made before Ladas were made. I think what's pretty crazy too is he was saying that all these cars were in Peru. He didn't go around the world and grab them. That would go around the world to get parts, but these cars were all in Peru. The randomness to having a Jetta, a Packard, to this, a little bit of everything in Peru is just wild, because at different times there wasn't a huge car industry here, and there wasn't a lot of people to buy all these, so they could afford all these. So.
This is the workshop where all the cars are meticulously restored. Here, each one sits waiting for their turn at whatever work they need. This area was crazy, seeing all the original cars in various states of disrepair. Any part they can't find or it just doesn't exist anymore, they create by hand. The craftsmanship that happens in this building is incredible. Mr. Nicolini may have only a small team working for him, but they are amazing at what they do and very passionate about it, making this a one-of-a-kind place. And a special thanks to Jose, who took the time to show us around, tell us about anything and everything, all the while being patient with the language barrier. His joy and passion were infectious and truly made our visit.
$28 Fiat.
Wow.
And they're working. That's what you're talking about. A little piece of paper. Ask somebody who has one to put a measuring tape in front of it. Make a cutout, and then there you go. Look at the finished product. I mean, that's just amazing. That finished product is so beautiful. Some seriously skilled fabricators here. Look at that.
Honestly, there's just too much to show you in a single video. We have a ton of footage from our visit, so we're making a separate video just on this museum. So look for that soon if you're interested in seeing more. Anyway, after our tour, Jose brought us into another area so we could sign the guest book. Here we found Mr. Nicolini enjoying a glass of wine with a few friends, and to our surprise, he asked if we would like to join them. What an ending to an already amazing day.
Hello.
Hi.
Any deep thoughts?
It's late and I'm tired.
So we are about to head to the airport in Lima, Peru via Uber, and it just feels weird. Goose is down in the parking garage of a hotel underground, and it's really humid down there, and it's right next to the beach, so we hope he's going to be okay. We think we got everything out of it we need. But yeah, it's weird leaving your home behind. We've got this nice Airbnb that we've been at for several days now, so that's been a nice break, sort of. But you're just trying to make sure you got everything figured out, from taxes, because tax returns are due in just a few days, to having enough work lined up at home to use this time as good as we can. It'll be nice to relax a little and see family, but at the same time you want to work as much as you can to pay for as much future travel and past travel as you can. So we're good, but you can probably tell we're just sort of stressed too. Like, don't miss the flight, couldn't afford that. Don't not work enough, couldn't afford that. Hopefully the truck's okay. Hopefully this is okay. That's okay.
Yeah, it's stressful going home. It's different.
Yeah.
I mean, usually it's a nice break to be in an Airbnb and take a shower, but then you get back into your home, and we're kind of leaving our home for a long time now.
Yeah, and then I think too, we know that going home and seeing family, it's good, and it can be stressful too, because we need to see everyone. I want to see aunts and uncles and all these other people that you've sort of skipped or missed obligations on for the last year or more, even since we've been sort of planning for the trip even. So you want to do all that justice, but you also just want to sit around and relax. You want to be able to go
eat our favorite foods and enjoy being kind of a tourist at home.
Yeah, so it's going to be a weird balance. We don't know how well we're going to do with it, but the moment we hit pause at home and we go mountain biking, or we take a road trip in the car or the truck, assuming all those things run, then I think it'll get back to it'll be mini adventure like the big trip that we're currently on, but it's sort of, that's what it always was for us when we were working anyways. Once we start up Tonto and head out to dirt, or we get on our mountain bikes and head out into dirt, it pauses all the important, stressful life stuff. So I think when we get back, that'll be key, is if we find time to do that.
Yep.
And then we'll film all that stuff, and we'll keep you guys updated on just the trip as it goes and how it goes, and if anything crazy happens. But if we're sitting around hanging out at my parents' or a friend's house, you probably don't want to see too much of that. All right, well, here goes nothing. Time to go back to the U.S. and back to home for the first time in a year, really.
Yeah, I've been back to Arizona. We did North Carolina for a couple weeks.
Yeah,
but
and that was just almost
work.
100% work, and then 2 days with each of our families, and it was rushing the whole time. We came back to the truck and passed out when we got back to the truck. We were so exhausted. So we are trying to give ourselves more time to actually relax while we're home. And this time we're actually going to Arizona, Arizona, California, which is our homes growing up and currently. So we won't have a house, but we'll be in our own state.
I'll miss Goose.
Yeah. All right. That's enough of a rambling update.
Thanks for watching. Join us next time as we make our way back to the States.
We're in the States.
We are in the United States. Wow.
Do you have anything to say about that, Tim?
That's neat.